Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to my channel. My name is Joanna. Thank you so much for being here. My job is very simple, is to help you remember who you are beyond the constructs of your ego, which leads to more empowerment. So if you are into that sort of thing, thank you so much for being here. I would love for you to stay. If you feel comfortable sharing this video with another person that would benefit from this, my team and I would be very grateful to you. And if you'd be willing to subscribe or press the like button, it helps the YouTube algorithm put these videos a little bit higher on a shelf, so to speak. For those of you who are returning, thank you so much for being here. Without you, I wouldn't do this, and I absolutely love what I do. I love channeling higher perspectives. And for those of you who are new, I just want to say to make sure that you don't take anything I say as gospel. It is really important for me, for you to learn your own discernment and listen to your intuition. So if something doesn't resonate with you, if something doesn't deeply resonate with you, then it may not be for you at this time. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It doesn't mean I'm right. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean any of those things. It just means you're not resonating with this message. However, what I was told that whenever you're listening to these messages, whether it's in June or a year later, you are meant to hear this message right now. So whatever is going to be said through this transmission, there is something in this transmission that is going to either help you change your mind or help you how you see things and therefore change how you live your life. So I would love for you to comment if anything, made sense to you and perhaps how it helped you shift your own perspective. My job as Joanna is to help you do just that, to help you shift your perspective, not because the perspective I'm sharing is the only one, but it is one of many higher perspectives that if we choose to embody these higher perspectives, our lives are going to change incredibly. So that is my aim. So today I'm going to go through the collective part. What is it that we are collectively experiencing? And I have three piles. I haven't done those in a while, which represents maybe a little bit of a stronger message or message that applies directly to you right now. So the first message is what is in front of us? What are we facing? The card is called Go Beyond Limits. And it is exactly that. We are here to face ourselves. We are here to go beyond our confinements. What kind of confinements? Our inner prisons, our inner confinements, our sets of beliefs, etc., etc. We are here to experience living more freely. But in order to have an experience of living more freely, we have to first recognize how we hold ourselves back. Because until we know how we hold ourselves back, we cannot change it. You cannot change something you don't know exists. So this is asking us to face our shadows. And there's something very interesting that I heard the other day that I thought was brilliant. It was something to the effect of shadow gives us depth and it gives us dimension. Now think about it for a second. Shadow gives our experiences depth and dimension. And when I heard that, I had to write it down because it was such a profound message that told me that if we present the idea of shadow in that way, we are less likely to resist looking at our shadows. I am the quote unquote queen of shadows. I absolutely love working with the shadows. I believe that's what that's what I'm here for. Not to dwell on the shadows, not to kill the shadow, not to get rid of the shadow, but to transform shadow into light. Because behind our shadow, there's tremendous power and tremendous energy. So, but think about it. Our shadows give us depth and dimension. So don't be afraid. Let's not be afraid looking at our shadows because our shadows represent our limitations. And we cannot go beyond our limitations unless we see that there is a limitation. You will never be able to go beyond how you limit yourself unless you see and recognize how you limit yourself. And the moment you see and recognize how you limit yourself, you have the choice to change it, but it cannot be changed for you. It has to be changed by you. Okay? So looking at our shadows. What is it that we are leaving behind? Beautiful message. Calling our parts home. This is a message of reintegration. No more living in black and white, feeling more at peace with ourselves. So what we are leaving behind is we are leaving behind our old stories, our old repetitive behaviors that are rooted in fear. We are letting go of resistance, and we are letting go of aspects of ourselves that have been holding us back. But here's the thing. It's not like we're letting go of these aspects. We are integrating it back to our bodies so that we once again feel like we are whole. At the very basis of who you are, even though you may not feel whole, you are absolutely whole. You are perfection. And the only reason why you don't have that experience is because of the limitations you hold about ourselves. So the limitations we hold about ourselves. So we're never going to be experience wholeness unless we see our own limitations, because our own limitations, perceived limitations, keep us away from experiencing wholeness. So this is another message of working with the shadows and integrating our polarities. What is the message, overall message? Reflection. This is the time. Well, it's always the time, but this more than any other time is a really good time to look within ourselves, to reflect, to not resist looking at our shadows, but to actually reflect and go within. And you guys know that peace doesn't come from the outside. Peace is internal. It's something that you feel internally. So to find peace internally, we have to go internally to see what is preventing us from feeling peace. Generally speaking, it's fear, it's lack consciousness, all those things. So the message here is don't be afraid to look at your shadows. Remember, shadows give you depth and dimension. They're a very important part of your human journey. Don't be afraid of looking at your shadows. Shadow has no power over you unless you give it power. Your shadow has no power over you unless you give it power. How do you give power to your shadow? You believe in your limitations. If you believe, for example, that you are not good enough, and you believe you are not good enough, that is a limitation you put on yourself because you are more than good enough. Okay? The whole idea of not being good enough, I've been working with clients for over 20 years. It's a very prevalent thing. The fear of not being good enough, fear of undeserving, that is a massive condition in most people that I work with. So that's the general message. Now I'm going to go through each pile, and each pile will give you a little bit more of an individual message. So if you're choosing pile number 1, what's in front of you? Gather your loyalties. I'm hearing friendships. So the message represents, the question is, what is in front of you right now? What's in front of you right now is you looking at your relationships, specifically friendship relationships, and noticing if there is any relationship that you have that's toxic or that's draining your energy. And then ask yourself the question, is this what I want? Do I want to be in this relationship? Okay. Chances are you'll say, I don't. So if you don't want to be in a toxic relationship, what can you do about it? Can you remove toxicity from another person? No, you can't, but you can remove the part of you that is attracting toxicity. So again, this is talking about shadow. The other thing I want to say is that you are not here to blend. You are here to stand out, and you have you have to find a way to get comfortable with this. Otherwise, you're going to be in huge resistance to what you are here to do. You are meant to be seen, and that's not an easy thing, especially if one of your core wounds is that you are not enough. Okay, so this is asking you to look at your own shadow, particularly the one that says that you are afraid of standing out. Okay. Perhaps when you were very young, someone said to you, you're too loud or you're too big, and you learn to sink yourself back in or hold yourself back in. This is a time for you to wake up to that, how you hold yourself back so that you can be more and so that you can be seen. They're saying your work is not going to be nearly as effective from a space of isolation. So some of you feel like you want to isolate yourself from others. You are here, if this makes sense to you, you are here to help enlighten others. Okay, that's an interesting choice of words. Helping others shed light on some things. So you might be a counselor, you might be someone who speaks certain words and makes people think, but you are here to be seen. So that's the first thing. The second one is, what are you leaving behind? Power of sound, suppression of your voice. So what you are leaving behind is how you suppress your own voice, let's say, how you suppress your own truth. How do you stand in your own way in terms of what you want to speak? And the whole idea of holding back, power of sound, holding back, is really important because generally speaking, when we hold back, we always have a reason for it, but generally when we hold ourselves back, it's because we feel that if we don't hold ourselves back, something at least uncomfortable or bad is going to happen. So that's a story. And because you have that story, you've learned how to hold your truth, how to hold yourself back from speaking. If you still do that, if you hold yourself back from speaking, then there is some wound that's energetically charged somewhere from the past. In other words, the experience that have made you feel this way at the very beginning, although that experience is gone, you are still experiencing it each and every day because it hasn't been healed, and it has to do with rejection, something to do with rejection. Perhaps you hold yourself back because you're afraid of rejection. Okay. So that's something that's leaving you. Maybe you'll come up there'll be a situation presented to you where you are being asked to speak your truth, speak your voice, and you feel very uncomfortable speaking your truth. If your truth is true to you, speak it. Be mindful how you present it. Don't be hurtful, but your truth is your truth, and that's just the way it is. Your truth can always change, but your truth is your truth. There is nothing wrong with that. So being comfortable with speaking your truth, again, in appropriate ways, is very, very important. So pile number one, you are learning how to no longer hold yourself back in terms of speaking. Message for you. Generosity, but it came up in reverse. So when it comes up in reverse, it just tells me that there is some resistance to it. You are likely someone who is very, very generous to other people, almost, I would say, too generous. And the over generosity is serving as a safety feature that if you keep giving and giving and giving, people are going to stay. Okay. If that's your deeply held belief system, you might want to look at that, because you don't want to be giving from the space of fear. It's not going to serve you, generally speaking, because you are constantly focusing on fear. When you are doing something out of fear, you are making choices and decisions out of fear. And sometimes we make choices and decisions out of fear, and it's very appropriate, but many times it's not. So if you are choosing to be over giving to others because the underlying fear is that if you don't overgive, people are going to leave you behind, there is a story there still charged with energy that needs to be healed. Okay, so that's what I have for you, pile number one. Now, pile number two, what's in front of you? Seek wonder. So first and foremost, I heard the word listening being very being very mindful what and who you listen to. Not everything that you hear, you should believe. Not, doesn't matter where it comes from or who it comes from. Be guided by your own intuition. Oh my goodness, what's it called? The firefly to me, I believe that's what it is, represents shifts in terms of thinking and feeling clarity. So you might have been feeling like your mind has been very cluttered lately. I feel it's like the sun is going to rise. All of a sudden, you're starting to see more and more clarity. So over the next few months, from whenever you're listening to it, expect yourself to be more clear within yourself and also to have a lot more clarity, to have a lot more clarity. I'm also getting a message of get in the habit of observing other people. I've always loved observing other people. I don't know why, but it's not because I'm judging them. I mean, yeah, that was true at some point, but it's just, I just find fascinating how people work, what people say, how they say it. I find it absolutely fascinating. But the message here is to be more observant, not only more observant and looking at people's actions versus than what they say, but also being more observant about you, seeing almost like seeing yourself from a distance. And this is really interesting because when we see ourselves from that perspective, we are less emotionally charged. So we can deal with feelings and situations and much more differently. So a lot more clarity is what I'm getting more than anything from this message. What are you leaving behind? Creative communication. Okay. If there are any misspoken words or words that you wanted to say but didn't, this would be a good exercise for you to do, is to spill out your grievances towards somebody or towards a situation on paper because you want to get it out of your system, and it has to do with rejection. Some of you are still holding back to the feeling of being rejected and you are feeling very bitter. So if this resonates with you, then great. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. Feeling bitter in and of itself is neither good nor bad. It simply is how you feel. There is no judgment around it. However, if we stay in bitterness too much, it might turn into us being cynical, less trusting. So you want to make sure that whatever grievances you still hold about somebody or situation, someone that has hurt you, it would be important for you to, I see like you spilling it out on paper. It's as if there was ever anyone you wanted to say something to and it was your truth and you're not holding back. Put that out on paper, write it out. And there's something about writing that's very therapeutic. You can do it on an iPad or on your phone too, but there's something about writing. I feel like it's just a better expression of energy because what you want to leave behind is you want to leave behind any grievances, any self-sabotaging behaviors, any unfinished business in your mind, unhealed stuff. That's what you want to leave behind. Why? Because you're closing a door to what is in so that a new door can open to what's coming to you. And what I see coming to you has a lot of abundance with it and opportunity, but you are still resisting that because you have these unfinished grievances from other people. It has to do with bitterness. Again, feeling bitter about something is neither good nor bad. It is a feeling, it is an emotion, it has a reason, it's perfect. However, if we are in it for too long, it's like too much salt and pepper on your steak. It's no longer palatable. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good first and foremost for you, but it also doesn't allow you to be the fullest expression of yourself because that kind of energy is going to hold you back. Okay. Your messages, self-nurture or nurture and concentration. Focus on taking care of yourself. This is what I get This is the message I get. Focus on taking care of yourself. No, it doesn't mean that you stop taking care of other people if you are responsible for other people, but you need to do better at taking better care of yourself, physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, because you're here to be of service in however fashion it appears to you. You're here to be of service. You want to make sure that you give from the space of wholeness, not from the space of lack. Because if you keep giving from the space of lack, you likely will become bitter. I always give people, but I never give back. I'm always over accommodating, but nobody's accommodating to me. What is the story? What is the story? Why are some other people receiving things and you can't? What is the story? Why can't you have what you want? What's the because? Why can't you have what you want? And then notice what comes up. There's a message in here for you, okay? And okay, great question. What does it mean to self-nurture? Well, it's kind of like taking care of you is literally taking self-nurture is taking care of you, your needs, your emotional needs, your physical needs, your mental needs, your spiritual needs. And although the outside can help and meet those needs, the outside can never fully meet those needs. It has to come from you. It has to come from you. If you want to be unconditionally loved and you want to be in that experience, you have to give yourself permission to love yourself. Otherwise, you're going to hold yourself back from that experience. You have to learn how to love you, AKA fully and completely accept you. Okay, this is polarities. Um, that's your job right now. Self-nurture. So however you hear this, maybe you're someone who needs to have a better eating habits. Maybe a little bit of exercise would do. Maybe you are over-exercising. Maybe you are too rigid and for whatever reason. Examine those needs. Examine those needs. Perhaps you need some outlet. Perhaps you need some creative outlet, but you're running around and you have no time. If this is a need of yours and you keep ignoring it, then it's going to come out in some shape or sort uh, where you're going to find yourself trying to alleviate that discomfort uh, by keeping yourself busy, for example. So sometimes when we keep ourselves busy, it's to actually detract from what it is that we need for ourselves. We have amazing ways of running away from ourselves. We want to come to ourselves. We want to come, we want to be in our bodies, and most people are not in the bodies, and so many people that I have, clients especially, are not comfortable feeling being in their bodies, so they're in their heads. Okay, in order to be more comfortable being in your body, you first have to know yourself. What's causing the discomfort? What are you uncomfortable with? And one of the best ways to heal, not only, is to sit with the discomfort. It was actually a message I received this morning, and I had to sit with my own discomfort. And it's not to judge the discomfort, it's not to wallow in the discomfort, it's to sit with it, just be present with it. And often what happens is when you sit, and then you'll notice how challenging that is, your mind comes up with a whole bunch of different stories. But when you sit with it, when you are present with the discomfort, what happens is your presence with the discomfort almost like drains it of energy. It becomes less uncomfortable the more you sit with the discomfort. Again, not an easy thing to do, but that's one of the ways that you can look at self-nurture, sitting with your own discomfort. Okay. All right. Pile number 3. Let's see what we have for you. What is in front of you? Use your cunning. Now, that's a very interesting message because it's not asking you to be deceitful. It's asking you to be smart. It's not asking you to be deceitful. It's asking you to be smart. It's asking you to be clever. There's a distinction. There's a distinction there. There is a fox here, so you might resonate with an animal totem of a fox. I'm noticing there's a lot of orange here. There's a lot of orange. So what I want to say is that your creative center, your sacral chakra, is likely a place where you would be good for you to do some healing. By the way, rejection also comes from the sacral, is connected to the sacral chakra. If you have any, if you feel blocked creatively, that is sacral chakra stuff. The sacral chakra is also the divine feminine. So I feel like what this message is saying is be bold in your divine feminine. Be bold in your creative nature. Be bold in your creative nature. Be bold in your creative expression. The message here is very loud. Be bold. I like it. Beautiful. What are you leaving behind? Conservative attachments, limitations, old stories that no longer serve you. You may have an old story about you that says this, or that, and it has served you up until a certain point, but now it doesn't serve you. Now it limits you. Okay. If you keep limiting yourself in whatever way or capacity that you do that, you're not going to be able to be the bold person that you are here to be, because you're going to hold yourself back. Also, look at your inconsistencies in terms of your thoughts, because the mind runs all over the place. What stories do you consistently tell yourself in terms of your own limitations? What story do you consistently tell yourself in terms of your limitations? For example, I'm never going to have a lot of money. Okay, why not? And you'll have a story. I don't believe it, or it's not for me, or money's bad, or whatever story you tell yourself. But the reality is this. How the hell do you know? How do you know? You have no idea. You have no idea what could happen tomorrow. You could win a lottery. You could get some kind of financial something. The point is, you don't know. You don't know. So stop telling yourself the story that you can't have a lot of money, and instead recognize you have a story that says, I can't have a lot of money. However, there is also a potential that you can, because you cannot prove that you cannot. You cannot prove that you will not have a lot of money. It's not going to happen. So do yourself a favor. Hold to the belief that you have that you can't have a lot of money, for example, but also recognize that there's another potential. And hold both of those. One where I can't, and one is, well, actually, I could, because I cannot prove that I can't. Okay. What's going to happen is you're going to lessen the resistance to this belief system that you can't have a lot of money. So again, it's facing our shadows. It's going beyond our limits. It's knowing yourself to the point where you realize the stories, you become conscious of the stories you tell yourself and how your stories limit you. Yes, everyone has a story. You have a story up until this point. Moving forward, you can create a different story. Yes, you can. You can create a different story. But it requires you to change your mind and change your programming. You cannot change your past. You can only shift what is now that would affect your future. Look at your past in terms of wisdom. What wisdom have you gained from having those experiences, those uncomfortable experiences? And there is always wisdom to be gained from it. Sometimes it's very, very difficult from a human perspective, but there is always wisdom to be gained from it. Your soul is getting a whole bunch of wisdom by you going through all these different experiences. Okay? But those experiences that have held you back, they're no longer required for you to pursue the rest of your journey. They're no longer required, which means you have to let it go. But in order to know how to let it go, you first have to recognize it's there in the first place. So what How are you holding yourself back? What beliefs do you have, do you hold about you that hold you back from being bold? Because that's what you're here to do. Sustenance. It came in reverse. So to me, the word sustenance just means plenty, not being worried. And what I feel is you are worried too much about your past and your future. In fact, the more you worry about your past or your future, the more fearful you will become because you're feeding your fear. Now, of course, there's no point in worrying about the past because past has happened. We humans do worry about our future because there's a lot of things that are happening in the world. But we are part of creating what is happening in our world, both microcosmically and macrocosmically. Rather than being fearful of what's going to happen in your world, first go inside of your own world. Recognize your own inner world. Is your own inner world in chaos? Is your own inner world filled with fear? Recognize the fear because the fear comes from some sort of story. Fear is not bad, by the way. I always say fear is not bad. In fact, if we did not have some level of fear, we would do really stupid and dumb shit. Okay. And we would probably not be living very long. Okay. So fear is absolutely necessary. Too much fear, again, I don't need to say it. You understand it. If this is messages for you, you get it. Too much fear holds you back. But it's not that it holds you back. You hold yourself back. Again, recognize how you hold yourself back so that you can choose to not hold yourself back any longer if you choose to. If you choose to. And can you stop holding yourself back? Absolutely, you can. First, recognizing how you hold yourself. Okay. So that's what I have for you guys. I hope this was helpful. Of course, if any of you are feeling inclined to work with me and my team to help you in your journey and to help you move beyond your inner prison, you can absolutely book a session with me. That information is down below. Please comment, share, let me know how this resonated with you. And by the way, thank you. They told me that every single person listening to this podcast, to this recording, is going to get a healing. So for those of you who are not interested, you're not gonna get it because my team will somehow know that you're not open to it. But if you're listening to this and you likely said yes to a healing, you received some sort of a healing. You may have felt things, you might have heard buzzing in your ears. If you didn't feel anything, doesn't mean that you didn't receive a healing. I don't know what each person will receive in terms of their specific healing in what area. I have no idea. That's beyond my pay grade. But this is what I was asked to share with you. So I would be curious to see if any of you felt something, or the way you feel, or just generally how you feel after hearing these messages. So I look forward to hearing from you, to seeing your comments. Until next time, take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.